Hello, and welcome back to another episode of Killer Production Chronicles. My name is Jalen Garrett, and I will be your host. Today, I will be covering the question, how does your product use or challenge conventions, and how does it represent social groups? So for this question, I am going to separate it into two parts. For the first part of my question, I will talk about how our product uses or challenges genre conventions. My group's film, Rumors, is a slasher adventure film. As it is a slasher film, obviously the conventions would include gory kill scenes, teenage victims, or an isolated location. For the adventure genre, there would be an exotic environment, group of friends, and plot twists. Theorist Steve Neal would note that there are narratives around genre, and each film can follow or challenge conventions of those genres. In our film, we had both followed and challenged these conventions. For the slasher conventions, we followed them by having teenage victims, and we had an isolated location, which was our empty school. However, we challenged the slasher genre by not showing the dead body that David claimed to have seen. For the adventure genre, my film features a group of friends and a plot twist of me knowing that there is a dead body. This followed the traditional conventions of adventure genres. However, my group does challenge the adventure genre, as there is no exotic environment and it is simply a high school. A classic slasher film that everybody knows is The Shining. There was a hallway scene with a little boy on a tricycle and two creepy twins. Similar to our movie, an isolated location is being utilized throughout this entire scene. Another film we can relate to is Jumanji. In Jumanji, a group of friends go on an adventure to save themselves after being trapped in a game. Similarly, our film also utilizes a group of friends going on an adventure. For the second part of this question, I will discuss how our film represents social issues. In the film, our character Ethan outed David for no apparent reason, telling him not to get too scared and that he's just being dramatic. It can be easily assumed by the audience that the reason he's being outed is due to his different appearance. David, who is the one getting laughed at and targeted, is a darker skin complexion than the rest of the characters in the film. This could represent discrimination at a teenage level. The fact that there is still discrimination towards the black community after prominent black figures such as LeBron James, Trent Alexander-Arnold, and even Kylian Mbappe is beyond me. However, the lurking bias in the world can be explained by Paul Gilroy's theories of ethnicities and post-colonial theory. Paul Gilroy's theories of ethnicities explain that people are marginalized and treated as others due to their ethnicity. His post-colonial theory notes that many cultures claim to racism without even realizing it due to their colonial pasts. This is also called unconscious bias. Moving on, teenage boys are also represented well in our film. If you just look at the clothes, hoodies, sweatpants, sneakers, and Crocs, all stuff that your average 15 to 17-year-old teenage boy would wear. That's the end of today's episode. Be sure to tune in next time.